Well, self-screening is an important new approach to cervical cancer screening. And many of the studies for that have been done outside of the UK. Some of the really large ones have been done in developing countries like Mexico, where studies of 25 to 100,000 women are possible. Before screening began for cervical cancer, roughly in the 1960s, 70s, it was one of the most common cancers of women, and in fact is quite an aggressive cancer and can hit women early in their lives, causing death and morbidity. So really, it's a very problematic cancer. It has reduced since screening, but that's only if women go for screening. So screening is very, very important. Self-sampling by women is highly acceptable. They find it to be a convenient, attractive option for providing samples. They can do it in the comfort and privacy of their own homes. It was accepted overwhelmingly by women as being a preferred option. And the results actually are very good. Now the specimens are sent to the clinic, the clinical testing laboratory where the tests are run, human papillomavirus tests, and then the women who are positive can be called back for a more advanced examination such as colposcopy. So it has many advantages, especially in terms of ease of use and ease of access. Well, the barriers to rolling out self-testing will differ depending on which country we're talking about. But let's take, for example, in the UK, it would be education, it would be setting the right goals, it will be funding, and then it will be organizational. So in terms of education, these are new studies, and a lot of even healthcare workers, but certainly the population at large, are not aware of them. In terms of goals, which women would we want to contact? You know, there's two main groups of women. Those who don't attend for screening routinely. There's a lot of those in the UK, whereas the larger populations in places like Mexico and Angola and South Africa would be amenable. Then there's the funding. Since this is a new approach, it will require some additional funding, which is not easily taken from existing screening programs unless we wanted to replace those, but we're not at the point of replacing them. And finally, organizational, setting up the self-sampling programs, for example, in the UK, to send notifications to women who don't come for screening, advising them to come or advising them to take a self-sample. These are the main reasons why it's going to be a little bit slow to get things off the ground.